yeah, you just kind of have to sit there and like wait. And so, yeah, just having like music in my ears so I can kind of visualize my run, go over my run, my routine to make sure that I remember everything and that it's really like locked in my head. And also what I've found really important for me is also like alongside kind of that part where you remove yourself from everything that's going on and you kind of have that quiet alone time.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the KO'd Convo podcast. Kienan Ducarroz coming at you with another very special guest. And if you're in the world of BMX, biking, extreme sports, all that fun stuff, you're going to love this one. Nikita Ducarroz is on with me. Nikita is one of the trailblazers for women's BMX freestyle. She won bronze medal at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. And she is just an absolute rock star, big advocate for mental health, things of all that nature. We're going to get into all of that. But Nikita, first off, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Very excited.
So you are, you're traveling all around the country, all around the globe, you know, competing. Where are you at right now? Where are you at nowadays?
I'm currently in Costa Rica. I've been here a lot as kind of my new training hub, just because there's a really amazing facility here.
Yeah, because you were in North Carolina training for a long time, correct? And
Correct.
And kind of when was that switch to Costa Rica to become like your main training hub?
So originally I went to North Carolina just for 6 months before the Tokyo Olympics, because there's also a really good facility there and a really good group of athletes training. And then COVID happened, like literally, I think a couple days after we like officially moved there. And then the Olympics got postponed. So I ended up staying there for 5 years. Like while we were waiting for like the Olympics to happen, which happened a year later, I like ended up getting a house and everything and kind of permanently settling there. And then after the first Olympics, I also trained for the second Olympics, kind of mostly in North Carolina. But towards the end of that, like the group that I was training there with and the facility, kind of started to shut down and everyone was going back to their home countries because it was a pretty international group. So I was looking for somewhere new to kind of train, and I ended up coming here just for a month originally. And then kind of just never left.
Yeah. You got the bug, huh? And you're sticking down there. So, I mean, what's it been like training? Is it a little bit different, you know, down in Costa Rica than the States, or is it kind of something similar?
It's pretty similar. Like, the park is one of the best in the world. And one thing that I think is different to a lot of parks that are of this caliber is a lot of the times they're in really random places where there's like nothing else around. So what's nice here is that it's just, I mean, it's, you know, the weather is great here. There's so much to do. People are outside a lot. So like outside of riding, you can really like have a lot of other things to do instead of just going to the park, training, and then going home and being in this like desolate area.
So you're telling me there's a balance. There's a
balance.
Wow.
Exactly.
You know, normally if you're a professional athlete, you know, it's just train, go home, sleep, do whatever. But it sounds like the BMX world, it's a little bit more lenient in that regard. Awesome. Well, I mean, that's amazing that you, obviously you're now in Costa Rica and training full time and things like that. And, you know, I don't want to get a little too personal, but did you just get engaged recently as well?
I did. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Oh, come on. You got to flash it. Come on.
I'm wearing my rubber ring right now. This is
Nikita.
my sport ring.
Oh, I gotcha.
My gym ring.
I gotcha. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank
I know
you.
that's a big milestone. But going right back to training a little bit. Obviously, the evolution of BMX, especially on the women's side, is blossomed. Right, we saw that at the most recent Olympics with the level of competition. Firsthand. In terms of like training and in terms of the parks, have the features evolved as well a little bit? Have the features become more difficult, or has it all kind of been standard since you started?
I would say it's pretty standard. I think the features have pretty much stayed the same. But definitely the level, I mean, continues to rise. And like you said, like on the women's side, it's unreal, especially like China has really put a lot of effort and money and funding into programs and stuff. So we're seeing a lot of like young girls now coming out of China that are doing, I mean, tricks that are no woman has done, but also tricks that like even for a guy to be doing is like pretty up there. And these girls are like 9, 10 years old. So it's pretty crazy. Yeah.
10 years old, and they're like competing at the Olympics and the world stages and things
No,
like that?
so I guess luckily for us, you have to be 15.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You have to be 15 in order to be in the elite class. But still there's quite a few 15-year-olds recently turned 15-year-olds that are really, really incredible.
So once they turn 15, then they just immediately it's a whole nother ball game. It's a whole nother ball game. But you talk about the Chinese. Obviously, you were grew up in the States and everything like that. But you represent Switzerland on the Olympic and the world stage. Kind of what, for those that don't know, kind of what went into that decision to represent Switzerland over the States? What was it? Competition related? Was it BMX related? Was it just a personal choice? Kind of dive into that decision to not represent the Swiss.
Well, I actually could have had 3 options because I was actually born in France.
Oh my goodness.
So I know it gets even more complicated. Like at the beginning, so when I first started competing, Olympics weren't a thing yet for freestyle. And so like we never grew up like representing a specific country necessarily. It was kind of just like everyone for themselves. And then of course the Olympics came into play. And so I had to make a decision of who I was going to represent. And I mean, it was a lot of different things. On the Swiss side, there is no athletes that were competing at all, which gave me an opportunity to kind of go in with my own coach and my own team around me that I was like already working with. And also kind of like the idea that maybe we could make BMX a little bit more popular or more known in a country that it wasn't so popular. Because, in the US, I think it's very popular, or not necessarily popular, but more people know about it. There's more athletes. There were like 2 other girls, maybe 3 at the time, like that were going to be competing for the US. So that was like part of it, is just like going in with my own team and everything. And then also like just growing up, we spent a lot of time in Switzerland. Like usually the summer months we were in Switzerland once we were done with school. And I just, have always felt a big connection to Switzerland and to that side of my family and stuff. So it also was like pretty special for me to be able to represent that side of my upbringing and just kind of represent my dad's side of the family.
So France was never in the cards. Is that what you're telling me?
Not really. Like, no, like, yes, I was born there, but like neither of my parents are French and stuff. So there's never really been like a connection to France.
I gotcha. Yeah. I'm just giving you a hard time. So obviously you won bronze in 2020 in Tokyo. like we talked about the level of competition in France in 2024. That experience, I'm pretty sure you were the flag bearer for Switzerland. Was that correct? Is that correct?
I was, but it was at the European Games, so it was like
European
a mini
Games,
Olympics just for Europe.
But anyways, but regardless, the Olympics, how cool was that experience? To be on the boat, part of your Swiss team, going in the country you were born in. Just kind of talk about the experience of the Olympics your second time around, and compared to your first time around. Now that you were a little bit more used to what you were getting into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was definitely two very different experiences. Like the first one, I think, just having no idea what to expect. And then on top of it, that it was in the middle of like COVID. So there was like no spectators. Like we had to wear masks 24/7. We had to test every single day. And like there was that like stress about not getting sick, because if you get sick, like that's it, you're done. They send you home. And so it almost like took away some of the pressure of the actual competition, because I think we were all so stressed of like, we worked so hard to get there. We were like, please don't get sent home for like getting sick. And I think just not really having too many expectations either, just like being happy to be there and the whole experience and everything. And then the second one was definitely different, like having expectations, and I think also like a bit of a pressure just coming in as a medalist. I think there was a bit of extra pressure of like needing or feeling like I needed to do it again, or at least that like people were expecting something more of me. It was definitely like crowd wise, like more hectic, and just being in the middle of Paris, like getting to the venue was crazy, just like in the buses, because we were just driving through like so much traffic every day. We were in these buses that were like completely sealed. They would like seal us in, and for like security reasons, because we would be like going out of the village and then into the venue. And so like it was when you would get to the entrance, they would look and check and make sure none of the seals were broken before they would let us in. And there was like one bus that broke down in Paris, and then everyone was like getting really overheated because it was so hot. And so the athletes started like busting open the windows, and then they broke all the seals. And so then there was this like whole debacle of like, they had to get all these like security checks before they went back in. So there's like all these like just little things that you would never think about. But yeah, it was definitely an interesting experience. I think it was a bit tough for me going into that, because like a couple weeks before, I started having, I think essentially what most people would maybe know it as like the twisties, if you're familiar with like gymnastics, where I just started getting like lost in the air with like my normal tricks, and really struggling with riding, just really like from one day to the next. And it was just so soon before the Olympics that there was no time to like figure out what was going on or like how to fix it. So I kind of went into the games not at all at my best performance. Actually more like at my worst. Which was kind of tough, but I kind of just try to look at it as like it was a really cool experience, and unfortunately didn't really go my way. Didn't go as magically as the first Olympics, but just to be there and to have that experience, I think is something that's really special.
Yeah, well, guess where 2028 is, Nikita? So guess where 2028?
Right at home.
Well, one of your homes, obviously.
Kind of, yeah.
If it was in like
home at this point?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? You're all over the place. I was gonna say, because like when we were watching the opening ceremonies, and I was looking out for you on the Switzerland boat, and I was looking at the Switzerland boat. I'm like, There's a lot more room on that boat than there is the U.S. boat, because the U.S. boat is like 200 people. I'm like, could you imagine if you had rowed for the U.S. and crammed on that boat with 200 people?
That would be crazy. That would be insane.
That would have been crazy. Nonetheless, you are obviously sounds like you're gonna go for the Olympics in 2028. What's the how's that preparation going? I know we're still a couple years away here, but in terms of your performances this year, last year, things of that nature, how has riding been going for you as a whole?
So, like, kind of since the whole Paris thing, like, performance wise definitely has been like a struggle. Like, I had a few good events last year, but it just was really getting to a point of like struggling a lot on my bike, and I think I kind of realized that I needed to take a step back and just assess everything that was going on. Like, it's been about 10 years since my career started, and there's no off season. And because we lost the 1 year to COVID, like, we basically went straight from one Olympic cycle into the next. Normally there's like a year, kind of like a dead year in between. And so it's just been like go, go, go. And I think it finally kind of got to me of just not taking a break, like riding almost every single day. The only break I had was, I think, 2018 when I tore my MCL. I got 3 months off. But I was like pretty fortunate with like injuries and stuff. So that's like the only time you get any time off is if you get injured. So it's been interesting. It's been like a learning process, and dealing, like, since November, I've been dealing with some health stuff that we've been having to kind of, like, I guess, play around with and try to see different treatments and see what we can do to get back to 100%. I've been off my bike for the longest I've ever been in my life, which is very weird, but I'm excited to get back on my bike. I'm excited to kind of go towards I almost said Paris, the next Olympics.
We're going back.
We're going back. And also maybe explore some things outside of competing as well, just because it has been like the last 2 Olympic cycles, I've been like just 100% just, laser focused on competing and training. And there's so much more to BMX than that. And I lost a little bit of that. Like, I used to have kind of that creativity and stuff before the Olympics came into play. And I feel like we got into this like very typical athlete training mode and lost a bit of that kind of like fun and creativity that freestyle is all about. So I'm excited to explore a little bit more this year. And like, I would love to do, and Red Bull is really known for doing crazy projects and unique projects and stuff. So I really would love to explore that and see what kind of things we could maybe do on like the video project side and stuff, and expand a little bit beyond just the training aspect.
Yeah, just try not to skydive from outer space like Felix did or something
no,
like
thank
that.
You. Unfortunately, like, I would probably have already a cool video, but I can't see myself skydiving. Like, I prefer to stay on the earth.
I did it once. Yeah, I did it
really?
once. Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was hilarious because I'm like deathly afraid of heights too. So I thought I was gonna, die or something like that. But I was the first one out the plane, which I think that helped. So I loved it personally, but I don't
know if I could ever do it.
Yeah, it's tough, and we're talking about extreme sports here, and people, some people might not want to do BMX because they can't take a flip or anything like that. So it's something completely different. So basically you so it sounds like what you were saying is you kind of lost the fun in BMX. Am I hearing that right a little bit?
But yeah.
Yeah.
The fun and like the playfulness.
Yeah. That you kind of had when you were younger. Have you been able to work your way back to that point a little bit with the quote unquote time off, or is it?
I mean, I don't really know because I haven't been on my bike, but like I'm starting to feel excited again to get back on my bike. And I think I just have to like remember kind of because you get into this training way of like you go to the park and you just do the same tricks. You have like this routine and you just do them over and over again. It just becomes so like automatic and robotic. And so I think getting back to going to more different skate parks instead of just going to the one training facility, like going to different skate parks, just having a session and not even doing any of your competition tricks, just playing around or like learning a new trick, even if it's something really basic.
Yeah.
Just little things like that to kind of bring back that feeling like how we all started just at, the local Sonoma skate park and just playing around. And it's like everything there, it's like tiny little ramps, but it's so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, cause, talk about your routine for a quick second, because, you mentioned, taking the fun out of it, and obviously, training is like robotic and stuff like that. How many hours a day would you be on the bike? Like say before the last Olympic cycle per se?
It was like, I would say almost every day. And I would ride between 2 and 4 hours every day.
Straight or split it up?
No, straight.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
4 hours
it just
straight on the bike?
Yeah, it just depends. Like more like around 2 is like the kind of average session time. But then sometimes like if you're really feeling into it or if you're learning a new trick and you're having to try it over and over again, then it can get up to like 4 hours. And like normally if there's a 4-hour session, it's actually a good sign because it means you're having a lot of fun and you're going beyond just like the specific things you went there to do that day.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And with the amount of new talent and the amount of people cycling into BMX freestyle and stuff like that, and vying for the Olympics, is there more like qualifying events that you have to get ready for? Is the schedule like a bit more well, I don't know what the word is, but
hectic.
Hectic, yes, exactly. There you go.
Well, I think so. We've just found out that for this next cycle, they're doing the qualifying series again, which essentially means, I believe there's 3. So I guess that's like a little bit more hectic. Like on top of our normal schedule, there will be 3 more events.
Okay.
But those aren't until 2028, I think, like right before the Olympics.
Right. I think it was the same last time for Paris. Yeah.
And last time there was supposed to be 3, but there ended up only being 2. But in order to get into those, basically, you just have to go to all of like the World Cups and the World Championships and European Championships, everything that falls within like the UCI, which is the governing body. All of like those main events will count in one way or another for like the overall ranking. And then that overall ranking is how they will choose the people that get into the qualifying series.
Gotcha. And if I remember correctly, the qualifying series, they're like in completely different places. They're all over the place.
Yeah,
I think one of them was in like Bangkok or something like last
year. Last year it was Shanghai and Budapest.
Sorry.
And I think the other one was supposed to be in London, maybe, but it never happened. And they haven't announced this year, I don't think, where they're going to be. But yeah, it's always spread everywhere.
Did you have a country that you've competed in that you really enjoyed and kind of exceeded your expectations?
It's interesting because so I would say China, but it's not like it didn't exceed my expectation. It's just that China is like such a crazy country. Like we have so much fun there. And we've been going because back in the day we would have a World Cup followed by the World Championships the next weekend in China. So for like 3 years in a row, we were spending 2 weeks there every year. And then since then, we basically had at least one competition in China every year. And it just was like, it's such a different world. And so it's just always very exciting, but it's very different. It's a bit difficult. Like to eat is a bit more difficult, just because it's so different and you don't always like really know like the language barrier and everything. And, but that's kind of what makes it exciting. And I think because we travel so much, like for us, it's like just part of the job, right? To travel. And a lot of times we're going to the same places that we've been going to for like maybe since the beginning of our careers. And so they become familiar. And I think a lot of Europe is very similar, like a lot of the countries in Europe. Like you don't get that like culture shock as much that you would with China. And so I think that's why China to me stands apart, because it's just such a different experience.
It's also huge.
It's huge.
Europe, all the countries are so close knit, tight together. I think that's kind of what you're getting at. But China, I've never been to China, but it's just gigantic.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. Well, also because you kind of mentioned before, the amount of money that they're putting into cycling and BMX, and obviously the success that those ladies have had over there. Let's dive into the kind of mental aspect of your sport, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Going into a race, in your typical race, do you have a set routine that you follow pre-race or pre, competition or anything like that? Or has it kind of varied throughout the years?
I would say it's varied. Like, I think when I go back, I'm going to really make a good routine that I'm going to stick to. But I think it usually just consists of like having some good music in my ears. Like if we're talking, while we're waiting around, there's always that like waiting around period before your heat is up. And I think that's like the most stressful time because you just kind of have to sit there and like wait. And so, just having like music in my ears so I can kind of visualize my run, go over my routine to make sure that I remember everything and that it's really like locked in my head. And also what I've found really important for me is also like alongside kind of that part where you remove yourself from everything that's going on and you kind of have that quiet alone time. I think it's equally as important for me to be with my friends, as in the other competitors, because like a lot of us are really good friends. We've either grown up together or trained together, or maybe we just see each other at events. But just hanging with them and joking with them, because like when we're riding together in a normal day, like that's what you're doing. You're just having a good time with your friends. You're teaching each other tricks. You're vibing off of each other. And so to keep that, I think is really important for me, even as it becomes a more serious sport and everyone's like kind of with their own like countries and teams and stuff, just to keep that friendly vibe. And I think it makes everyone relax a little bit more.
Talk to me. What's on your playlist? What kind of music are we talking here?
I couldn't even answer that because it literally just depends on the day. But I will say that lately I like switched to Spotify, or not Spotify. I switched from Spotify to SoundCloud because I got really bored of just like listening to like the normal songs, and I wanted to listen to like DJ sets.
Every remix possible.
Yes. So I'm just like all about the remixes and all the mixes and the mashups and everything. I love some 2000s music, I'll have to say.
Wow.
Or like nice. I like to go back a little bit. But I'm all over the place. Like I will listen to like 50 Cent or Three Doors Down, or like some like classic 80s rock.
Nice.
I'm just everywhere.
Is there one genre that, you can't stand or like is kind of at the bottom of the totem pole?
Mm, not really that I can think of. I feel like I'm pretty out of touch with like new music. I've realized
That's
and that makes
fair.
me feel so old. I'm like, I don't even know what's going on these days with anything recent. I don't know these
I
new
gotcha.
artists, like nothing. Like Taylor Swift, like I know old Taylor Swift, but like I could not even name like one single new thing. Maybe I would like it. I don't know. But I just feel like I don't know. Maybe it's because like we don't listen to the radio anymore. I don't know.
What year were you born?
6.
Okay, I'm 96 too. Yeah, we're both 96 kids. That's amazing.
Yeah.
High five on that, first of all.
Boom.
Think about every new song would come on the radio, and now it's like, you mentioned the Taylor Swift, like Teardrops on My Guitar. That's easy. Now I don't know any of this nonsense, you know what I'm saying? No, that's hilarious because it's the new music is just so like weird, and it's just like, especially like the hip hop stuff is all like mumble jumble, and
The mumble rap, yeah.
That's hilarious that you're like going back into SoundCloud, because that takes me back a little bit, because I was like thinking about, I was thinking about one of my first downloaded songs. It was like, I don't know if you know the song "How We Do" by 50 Cent and The Game. It's yeah, it was like a remix of that, but like Ludacris was on it too, and it made no sense.
I love Ludacris.
it was the craziest thing I've ever listened to in my life, but it was great. It was awesome. And then I was like the other night, like it's also funny, like listen, just going on a rant here, but like the newest generation, thinking that they discovered all these great songs, like The Way We Are by T-Pain, I'm saying, like they think they discovered that. And I'm like, no, that thing's been a hit since, you know what I'm saying? That's hilarious. Yeah. Anyways, go 90s kids.
There we go.
Go 90s kids. So obviously listen to music, kind of taking it back here, listen to music, hang out with the friends, just chill. And then in terms of the actual performance, in the athletic space, there's a thing for those that are listening. There's a thing called the flow state where, you're doing so well, things kind of just slow down, and everything's going completely perfect. Have you ever, felt that in competition before, Nikita, that you can remember?
I honestly don't know, because I've been seeing all these things and these articles about the flow state and stuff. And I'm like, I wonder if I've ever like felt that. Yeah. And I think I still haven't quite had my kind of dream run where everything really just went perfectly. I think maybe I've felt it more just during like sessions where I'm just riding and it's not necessarily like a planned like routine or anything like that. I think I have yet to have that like perfect run where I feel like everything went to plan.
So you're telling me it could be coming? Possibly.
Could be coming. Still chasing that. Yeah.
still chasing. How long, do you want to be able to compete? As long as you can, or kind of like you said, you want to delve into the creativity side, but in terms of the competition standpoint, do you have like a set timeline of, when you, not like retire, obviously, because you're still young, but you kind of get what I'm asking here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I think, I kind of just said like, I want to go for one more Olympics. And I don't know if like after that I think for sure after that I would be done with like all the UCI, like World Cups, World Championships, those type of events. But there's still a lot of other events like X Games, and other smaller events that are, I guess, more fun, not as rigid. And I think that could still be like in play past that. But I would say like I would retire from UCI and like Olympic events after LA 28. But yeah, I definitely think kind of on my way there, and then definitely like once 2028 hits, like definitely going into the more creative side and video projects and kind of seeing what I could do. I think Like there hasn't really been any BMX videos with Red Bull on the women's side. So it would be really cool to do something with them there. And I think it could be a bit difficult to balance both, like being so heavy into like training and focusing for Olympics and then also trying to do video projects, because those can take months and months depending on what it is and just the organization of it. Like they're such huge scale projects. So I think to free up a bit of time on the competition side and be able to really focus on some video projects would be really cool and something that I've always wanted to do, but never really had the extra time.
So you're just a natural born trailblazer. You just want to do all the things that nobody's ever done before. It's
not on purpose.
I know it's not. It's the Sano menu. Anyways, obviously, the sport has been, it's still pretty young. So like in the extreme sports space, cycling space, was there anyone that you kind of looked up to that were kind of your heroes, growing up?
Yeah, for sure. Like I think riders like Kevin Peraza or Dennis Enerson, they were always riders that I really looked up to. And it's funny because they are both, like, I would say, the most creative riders in BMX, and they ride everything. They ride dirt, they ride park, they ride street. So I think that kind of shows like deep down what I really love. Like I've never been a good like street rider or anything, but I've always loved that rider who does everything, does a bit of everything. And on the women's side, like when I first started, like there really were not that many women, but like Angie Marino, who's one of my good friends, and like Nina Butrago, and then my good friend Corey as well. They were kind of like the trailblazers for women's BMX before I came. And it was like, if you looked up women's BMX on YouTube, it was like those three. Like that was it. There weren't many women out there back then. So yeah, I think just I think it's so important to have people to look up to, and especially like for the women, like now I think those young girls they're getting into it and they're already at a level that's like higher than us, because they saw, I guess like my generation kind of set this like standard, this bar, so that this next generation, when they came in, it was like we were already doing it. Like they saw like, oh, it's possible.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really cool. Like it's pretty crazy to think where it's going to go from here.
Yeah. So you kind of mentioned those role models there. If you had to take 4 of them, put them on a Mount Rushmore, who would it be?
From BMX riders?
Yeah, or just any role models in general, and keep in mind, try not to hurt too many feelings here, but I'm just kidding.
This is tough. I mean, if we're like expanding outside of BMX, like of right now in this moment, who my role models would be. I would say like the highest that I really have been looking up to is Alona Mar. And she's a rugby player. Are you familiar with her?
She's a beast. Holy
She's
smokes.
amazing.
She's
we actually have the same birthday. Like exactly the same birthday.
What birthday?
August 12th, 96.
Wow. Look at you guys.
And I met her at the Olympics in Paris. Like I was like super hoping that I would meet her there. So we got to meet her, and I think she's just really a really cool example in a lot of different areas, like just being a woman in sport and kind of being like, her whole thing is, about strong is beautiful, and kind of like a different, like being different than maybe the standard that society has set for women as far as like beauty standards and stuff. And just being a really badass athlete, but then also like on the social side, and like how she's been able to grow her brand. And like she also comes from kind of a smaller niche sport. And just to see what she's been able to do with that. I think all of that has been really inspiring.
She's strong, all right.
Yeah.
She's
so,
a beast.
I guess that's not like my Mount Rushmore, but I think that would be who I look up to right now. Yeah.
She's got a lot of, obviously we've seen her on like her own podcast and stuff. She's got a lot of personality too, which I think is, a lot of people don't, expect from like a rugby player and stuff like that. Last couple of things here. I want to just dive into, the mental health side of things, because you are such a big advocate for it. And obviously, I'm a big, mental health supporter as well, and an advocate of mental health as well. How is your mentality? How is your mental health now? Throughout the years, obviously it's gotten a lot stronger. It seems like through your interviews and things like that, but how is your mentality now? Just how are you doing?
It goes in waves, and over the years as well. Like it's always been, I've always had periods of time where it was like really good, and then there would be dips, and then kind of had to work back up. But I think each time, I've learned more and more tools, to deal with the dips when they do come. Because each time, you get so low, and then I have always worked with, both, I guess, normal psychologists and also sports psychologists.
Yes.
Just for like the different areas of things. But I think as I've grown and matured, I've learned a lot of different tools and tried a lot of different things. So I'm more prepared when I do get into those dips, because I expect them. And I think right now it's definitely a difficult period because of, I guess for the first time, I am at a point where I see kind of like the end. I don't want to say the end, but like a change in my career, change in the direction of my career. Whereas all these other years, like I always say, like I never really planned any of this. Like I just started riding my bike, and it just kind of like these things happened. It wasn't like I had like a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan. And so I never thought like super, super far into the future of like what I was going to do next and all those. And now we are at a point where I do need to start thinking about those things. And so it's just been interesting being in this like different stage of life and trying to think of like what comes next. And sometimes it's pretty scary, and especially when my entire life revolves around riding and competing and stuff. So it's like a learning process of figuring out how to navigate that and kind of what I do want to do next, but also stay present, because it is still like at least 3 or 4 years, which is a long time. But it's like, I think when you get into this mindset of like the Olympic cycles, it's almost like an Olympic cycle in your mind is like 1 year.
Yeah.
And so you treat this like block of time as like 1 year, but it's actually like a long time. Like so much can happen in 3-4 years. So just, finding that balance of like both starting to prepare for the future and seeing like what I want to do and what direction I want to take, but also staying in the present and enjoying the now. And
is there kind of like a fear of the unknown, if that makes sense? Looking around there. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, because it's just like I said, it's like everything revolved around what I've been doing up until now, and like I don't know any different.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to embark on something new. Because I think for me, my dips come when it's like sudden changes and like things like that. And I've kind of like, I can anticipate them now a little bit more, because I know, I don't know what I guess the triggers, I now know what the triggers are and things like that.
Right.
For those said dips. But it's definitely interesting, to try to find these different tools and things like that to kind of help. And, obviously, you've tried probably a plethora of them like myself. But obviously, well, honestly, just, you also have a wedding to plan too. So take that into account.
I also have a wedding to plan. And that is something I did not think that I would be doing.
Really? Oh,
No,
my
like I've
goodness.
never been like, I don't know. I just never grew up like being like, oh, I'm like so excited to get married one day. And like I didn't, it just wasn't because it was so much about bikes and everything, you know? So
Yeah.
it never was something I was like dreaming about or thinking about. And I'm still in the stage. I see all these like TikToks about how stressful it is to like plan a wedding and stuff. And I'm like a little bit getting there, but I'm still like not in the stressful part yet. I think I'm still in like the excited part, but definitely like once I've like started to see how much everything costs for a wedding,
Yeah.
I'm just like, what is happening?
Yeah, obviously, I still live in California, but I got married up in Oregon because it's a lot it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah,
Getting married in
I can
California.
imagine that.
It's a lot cheaper. But I guess, the one advice I would give you, is when you get to that day, just let the day take you. I mean, you've done all the planning, you've done all you can, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But yeah, try not to get too stressed about that because, I feel like for me, once we got the, not to, have too many spoilers here, but, once I got the guest list out of the way, then we were kind of smooth
sailing.
smooth sailing a little bit more.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
get all those hard decisions out the way. That's a little bit for you here, Nikita. Just want to fire off some rapid questions here. TV shows or movies?
TV shows.
What's your favorite TV show of all time?
Ooh. Okay, right now, because I just rewatched it again, it's called Don't Come Home.
Really? What's it on?
It's on Netflix. It's foreign. It's like, I want to say it's like Thai, maybe? I'm not 100% sure. So you have to watch it like in a different language with subtitles.
Yeah.
But it's like it's like a mind twister and very suspenseful and also very emotional.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you're crying during it, or
you cry at the end. Like I sob every time.
But you still go back and watch it over and over again.
Yes.
What about growing up? Did you have any like favorite TV shows that you really enjoyed, or I know you couldn't focus on too much because you're out, biking all the time. But
just I can't think of like specific names, but I always liked cop like detective shows. Basically, I still do. That's still mostly what I watch. Like kind of that genre. Movies growing up, like best movie of all time, and like the movie that inspired me a lot was Stick It. The gymnastics movie.
Oh my goodness! Wow, that's another throwback. I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
these new kids won't know about that one. Yeah, no, that's a good choice. If you had to choose another Olympic sport to compete in that's not in yours, what do you think you would be doing?
Honestly, probably like rugby. More realistically rugby, or like one that I think is cool but I think is also very scary is like slopestyle snowboarding.
Snowboarding. Wow. Yeah, so I mean, is that just because of the recency bias because of the Winter Olympics just happening, or is that
a little bit? Like I've been watching it, but like I used to snowboard and stuff, like, and I always really enjoyed it. Like not super good. Like I would go through the train park and stuff, but like that's why I'm saying like it seems like something that would be really fun, but also like I can't imagine like hitting those huge jumps.
It's a little bit different than on a BMX bike.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, speaking of the Winter Olympics, I think the one event that impressed me the most was like those cross country skiers that are going like uphill for like 5 miles, and at the end they just fall to the ground. I'm like,
yeah, no.
How does that work? They are something else. So rugby realistically, interesting. Do you watch a lot of rugby as a fan, or when you can?
Not at all. Not at all. Like I actually went to a rugby game for the first time last year. And it was really cool. It was like a tournament actually. But I don't know. I just always kind of like wanted to try rugby ever since I was little. Just randomly. Yeah, just because. I don't know why.
when you're in the Olympics, when you're not competing, and are you able to go see other events, if you're not practicing or anything like that?
I think so. So I didn't, and I'm not exactly sure. I think there's ways to get like tickets and stuff through your like federation, but I never did.
But it's not like athletes can just walk freely around.
No, I don't think so.
Well, that's stupid.
I know.
Was there even an Olympic village in Tokyo?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There was. Okay. It was just all like testing and combined.
Yeah. Okay. Like every morning we had to spit into a tube.
Oh gosh. It's like PTSD.
I know. And we had to wear masks 24/7. And like the dining hall was like basically plastic dividers, like in front and on the side. So you would just be in like your cube and you'd be sitting across from your friend, but with like a plastic in front of you.
Jesus.
But everything else was like pretty normal. Like you could walk around. There was like activities and
yeah. I got you. Okay, going back to the questions real quick. Favorite vacation spot?
Costa Rica.
Oh, come on! You basically live there now. It's got to be somewhere else.
So I don't know because I don't go on vacation
ever. Well, hopefully soon. I mean,
I went. Where did I go? I went somewhere recently. It was the first time I went without my bike traveling.
Really?
Ever. Since I was like a little child. I don't even remember where we went. But no, still Costa Rica.
Wow. So everywhere you've gone is with a bike.
Always with my bike. Yeah.
That's crazy. Are you sure your bike doesn't have a engagement ring on it too? You guys are like a package deal. Favorite color?
Lilac.
Okay, you don't got to get so specific on me. It's like
no, because I hate regular purple.
Oh. So if you had to have like a dream gear, would it be lilac? Would it be lilac colored?
Maybe not everything. I'm more of like a white or black with just like a hint of color.
Okay. All right. So be a little subtle. Any siblings?
Two younger brothers.
So you're the oldest.
I'm the oldest, yeah.
I'm the oldest of three as well. We are bred from a different cloth. I tell you that. We have experienced a lot as the oldest sibling.
The oldest child.
When was last time you were back home in Glen Ellen or Sonoma or wherever?
I was actually there in November.
Very nice.
And that was the first time I was there in like 4 or 5 years.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. I didn't even like realize it had gotten that long. But it's just like, but I've seen my parents, like they've come here or we've seen each other like in Switzerland. So that's the thing is like I see them and my brothers and stuff. So sometimes I forget how long it's been that I've actually been in Sonoma because I have seen my parents in like different various places. Gotcha.
Well, your mom loves to travel. She loves to travel. Loves to travel. Tea, coffee, or neither?
Both.
Oh, one more than
I don't really drink. I don't drink them much. But I like all.
Favorite cuisine?
Japanese.
Is that like easy? Like nothing comes close?
Yeah. I mean, I've also very much like the food here in Costa Rica now. That's but yeah, definitely Japanese and like sushi. Like I could eat sushi anytime, any day.
How many languages do you speak?
Fully 2, French and English. Spanish I can understand like almost everything, but I'm like very shy about speaking.
¿Por qué?
So it's like not quite there yet. I don't know. I don't know.
No tienes confianza, ¿no?
No.
Do you know what I said?
Not at all. I don't have any confidence. Which I don't.
That's what I said. Is confidence is you don't have any confidence. Hey, but that's okay. That's okay. I mean, if you stay in Costa Rica a lot longer, there. I'm sure you'll get it. Do you have I mean, obviously, you're still planning the wedding, but have you thought about honeymoon at all? Have you thought about the the destination at all?
Like I don't think we're really gonna do a honeymoon. Like we're not really planning it, just because we're gonna be traveling a lot. Anyways, like before and after. Like I think we'll definitely set aside some time where we do something without like that. It's not a BMX event
Without a bike.
without a bike. But like I will say, like I'm trying to bring him to as many events as I can that I go to. And now that I've been doing that, like this past year, when I did bring him to events, we went like early, like a couple days early to different places, and actually like did some sightseeing. And like when I had European championships, and it was in the Netherlands, but in Eindhoven, which is where I always go to train with my coach because he's from there. But like we went a couple days ahead to Amsterdam, and like I fly into Amsterdam every time, but I've never actually stayed there and like explored the city. And so that was really cool. Like we just were there as like normal tourists and stuff. So probably it'll be more like that versus like a set honeymoon.
Yeah, I actually did my. It's funny. I did my honeymoon in Amsterdam.
No way.
Yeah, and we
That's
were there
funny.
in April, where like all the tulips were going crazy. So we went and saw the tulips, and it was amazing. And we stayed in Amsterdam.
Cool.
We didn't know this beforehand, but we were right outside the red light district. So that was fun. Yeah, I know. It was fantastic. But I know I loved it. I thought it was great. You know, it's a lot of people though.
A lot of people.
A lot of people and a lot of bikes. So it's probably, good for you. I mean, it's basically your crowd. Your crowd. Any spectator sports that you watch, that's not cycling or rugby or anything like that?
Not really. Like, I watch sometimes like events, like special events that are happening, but I don't regularly watch any sports at all. I don't know why. Yeah.
No, that's fine. I think us in the States, we take our sports a little too seriously in terms of the amount of the amount of fandoms. Obviously, here in the Northern California, they got the Warriors, the Niners, all that fun stuff. But good for you. Good for you. I myself, I'm a tennis player, so we don't.
Okay.
So, the individualistic, I can never really work in a team sport. So I kind of like the individual side of things. But hey, it is what it is. Anyways, well, Nikita, that's unfortunately, that's all I have for you. It was amazing talking to you. Thank you so much for coming on. Have fun in Costa Rica. Hopefully we get to see you in LA in 2028. I'm knocking on wood that happens. that crap that happens, And if you show up and your bike has a wedding ring on it, then I'll be even more happy for you. Anyways,
okay.
Nikita,
I'll make sure of that.
Nikita, keep listening to those remixes on SoundCloud. Let me know if there's any that you want to send my way that you really like.
Sounds good.
Anyways,
I'll pass them along.
Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.